Alright guys, going to be doing a quick pool motor replacement video. Let's get going. Alright, first of all, we're going to talk about how do you know your motor needs to be replaced. One, it gets really, really loud. Okay, you're also going to hear a noise when you turn it on and off that does not sound right. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so you can tell this is actually a replacement motor. The original looks like that. Okay, it's the same pump, just so you know, the pump's in the front, motor's in the back. Okay, so they make these bolt on here so you can replace them. Now what you want to do is isolate the water. So luckily I have this here, so I could turn off water going down this way, and both of these valves all close, so no water is going to be going into the pump and no water is going to be trying to come back this way. So the reason is, when you take all this apart, you don't want water dripping everywhere, right, while you're trying to work on this. The other thing is, obviously, kill the power right before you do anything, so you don't get electrocuted. It's always a good idea. Then we're going to take that screw off. We're going to disconnect the wires. We're going to take all these bolts off, take the motor out, put the new one in. So I'm not going to go into all that detail because there's other videos on YouTube about that. I just want to go into how do you know you need to replace it and the general steps. So turn the water off to the motor, turn the power off, disconnect the motor, put the new one on. Now when you see your old motor, you're going to see some stuff like this. So model number's right there, USQ 1152. So just order the same motor, okay? Like I just got one on Amazon for like 250 bucks. Came in a few days. When you start hearing your motor getting really loud, when you start seeing water shooting out of the sides here, that means you need a new pump seal. So the problem is, okay, let's talk about what happens. Your pressure goes up. Pressure gets, let's say to 30, right? Because it's dirty and it needs to be backwashed. But sometimes we're lazy or we can't get to it in time, and that high pressure over time causes the seal in here between the motor and the pump to fail. Then water starts shooting out of here. Okay, at that point you should get the seal replaced. As soon as you see that, you should replace the seal yourself, actually. But then you have to take the whole motor off. So it's the same exact process to change the motor as to change the seal, right? You got to disconnect this whole thing. Now if you don't do it in time, what happens is that water that's leaking out, in my case I was dealing with the water leaking out, that was okay, but water is also leaking into this motor, okay, and it's ruining the bearings inside, and that's basically why you end up needing a new motor. So you run your system with high pressure, you break the shaft seal, water starts leaking into the motor, and one thing after another. So this thing's going to be super loud. You might want to lower your volume. I'll show you what it sounds like now. Oh, look at that. I think it's actually completely broken at this point. Well, I can assure you this worked, and I turned it off recently. It was super loud. Now it's not even coming back on. So good thing I got the new motor in time. And yeah, so I'm going to replace this. I'll turn the camera back on when I'm done just to show you that it's all working. But I'll post a link to steps to do this, so I'm not going to repeat the video that's already out there. It's a pretty good one. Okay. Hey guys, when I flipped the motor over, I just wanted to show you. Look what I found. There's like literally pieces of plastic and stuff on the bottom of the motor. So yeah, that needed to be replaced. Alright, and these bolts are pretty jammed on there, so corroded on there, so I just hit it with some PB Blaster. Alright guys, okay, I just got this off, so you can see that some stuff got in here, but these two bolts, this was on the bottom side. I just flipped it back over. The bolts that were on the bottom were like extremely hard to get off. I had to use some PB Blaster and use a lot of weight on these. So clean everything up before you put it back in, and if chances are when you're doing this you're not going to have extra bolts around, so I'm just going to reuse these, but I'm going to clean them up thoroughly. And I think I started to strip one right there a little bit, so make sure you put that one on the top side next time so it's on the easy side to get off. Use the best bolts you have on the bottom, because that's where the corrosion all ended up. Another quick thing, so I put a socket in here just to use it because it's the perfect size, and I push down and look what happens. That piece of the shaft seal comes out, but the rubber stayed in. So I'm gonna have to fish that out of there with like a screwdriver or something, being careful not to hurt this plastic. So if that happens to you, you know, this rubber shouldn't be here. When you watch the other video, you'll see that it should be all this yellow plastic. Shouldn't be any seal already in there. Anyway, you wouldn't be able to get the new one in regardless, but you know, something always goes wrong, right? Gotta improvise. All right, so I got that out of there. I might want to order a new one of these. I see a part number over there. So, because I got some cracks in here. Well, it's not straight through, but where is it? Yeah, like right there. You know, stuff like that. Maybe it's just a good idea to have another one around. Also, there's like a lip in here that I don't like. I don't know if it's corrosion. I'm gonna try to clean that out, but that might be causing a problem. Guys, the little styrofoam that came with the packaging on the motor, it's a perfect little stand for working over here when you're doing the electric. You just turn the whole thing upside down, it holds it up, make your connections easy. Alright guys, I just turned it back on and it is so much quieter. I mean, I could tell you before, I would hear it from inside. I mean, it was embarrassing. Like, I turned it on and I was like, I'm disturbing the neighbors, right? So now, that's how it's supposed to sound. It's running great, no problems, and I don't see any leak anymore. I think that, let me try to tighten some stuff up. You know, I had a problem with the seal when I was putting the seal on. It like popped out of the white ceramic part popped out of the gasket. I think it was a cheap seal. So I might have to redo that because I don't want to ruin a brand new motor. So I'm gonna see if tightening the bolts helps. If not, I'm gonna turn it back off. Yeah, so there's a very slow leak coming out, which I don't like. All right, when I purchased this seal on Amazon, it wasn't a name brand. Let's just put it that way. And they claimed it was US seal, but it was wrapped in a different, just like basically Reynolds wrap kind of thing. So I'm thinking, and when I put that seal in, like I said, the ceramic piece popped out. I tried to put it back in. I'm going to take this apart. I have another seal, an older one. I'm going to put it, that I never used, I'm going to put it in, and if that solves it, you know, we'll see. So unfortunately, I got to take this thing apart again, but at least I don't have to redo the wiring and everything. So I'll let you know how that goes. All right. Just to show you on the old seal that I took out originally. See, this piece, the ceramic piece, is supposed to sit in here. And when I was putting this in, the new one in, this got like the rubber got deformed, and this white piece actually popped out. And I don't know if that has something to do with it, but probably does. You're not supposed to touch this with your hands when you're on the newer one. So anyway, let's see. All right, guys. So I had another seal. I put it on. This time I did not see any drip at all. All right. So it's like it's good this time. What I did differently is I made sure that where the seal, let me turn this off so the top. Where the seal, when you put the seal in to this back part, I used soap. I used dishwasher soap, and I coated it with that instead of the pool lube, because I read online that you want a water-based thing, and you could use not to use pool lube. You can use an actual special seal lube, which I don't have, or you can use that. It seemed to work better in that the shaft seal slid into the socket a lot better, a lot easier and more flush. So anyway, I think that helped a lot. And anyway, I hope this video gave you some tips and tricks. Guys, using that thing to balance the motor when you have the motor over here, that really helped, because then you can do all your wiring and everything. It's much easier because the motor's standing up. This is if you're operating with one person, obviously. So yeah, that's about it. Hope these tips and tricks helped, and if so, give me a like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.